Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Gemma and Rach Let's Chat podcast. This week we have got a Christmas special diet dilemmas. We asked for your questions about what's worrying you, what you've got coming up, and we are going to answer them today, as well as giving you a little update on how I have found being on plan for the last 9 weeks. So if you're ready, you know what to do. Pop on your headphones, link up the Bluetooth, grab a brew, and let's chat. Gem, I love these episodes of Diet Dilemmas. We say it every time, but they really are. I feel like we are the agony ants of the one-to-one diet world.
Yeah, but I just love the questions that come in. Like, I know you always get a theme, don't you? And we've always got a bit of a theme going on these.
I know, it's so interesting, isn't it, to see how people's what people are struggling with are always so similar. And I think we can feel so alone whenever we are like struggling on plan. You know, maybe we look on social media and we think that all we see is people like smashing it. So we like to do these episodes because we want to show you that you are not alone. And if you're struggling, so are lots of other people. But the difference between struggling and getting through and struggling and falling off is using the support that you have around you. And this podcast is one of those things. But before we head into our diet dilemmas, I thought I'd give a bit of an update on how I have been on plan. I've kind of touched on it a couple of times, but haven't really gone into massive detail about it. It's been a very like my own little journey, which is weird because last time I literally posted everything and anything on Instagram. But this time it's felt like it's been a different thing. And I've just needed to kind of deal with that with myself in the background. And I think that's a really important thing to say is like I would always have said like Instagram is fantastic, like blogging really helps, and it did. But this goes to show that sometimes even if you've done plan before or you're doing a reset or whatever, you need to do different approaches and actually change things up a little bit. And it's been, I think, 9 weeks. I'm not sure. I have hardly weighed, which is bizarre for me.
That is just music to my ears, Rachel.
I know, because I was a bad daily weigher when I first started with Jam, and she had to give me a bit of a talking to. And it was the best thing that ever happened, actually, because I do think that so much changed in my mindset when I stopped weighing every day. Because
that's what happened to me. That's how I knew. I used to be obsessed with weighing, and I've said this before. I knew what weight I was at every event. I could look back at photos and even know to the pound what I weighed, which is not healthy.
Sad.
It's not normal. But I thought it was normal.
Remembering like your cousin's like wedding is like,
I know.
I was 14 stone 3 then. But we do,
it's
like
quite
so
scary,
many of us do. And so many people of our clients, people that, we just see out on social media, weigh constantly. And I think there is mixed messages out there because there are some plans, there are some professionals that will recommend weighing every day, right? And that's the beauty of the world. There are a million different opinions and methods and ways, and it's about finding what works for you. And I think if you're someone that has emotional connections with food, or you've got a history of maybe more toxic dieting in your past, or you find that when you step on that scales, you're looking for either elation or it will cause you to feel awful. Like neither of those things is good. Standing on the scales and feeling this massive euphoria is not healthy. Like it should very much be quite a neutral experience that can make you feel slightly like did well there, or slightly like I had a very nice weekend there. But that is, if you are someone who's getting on all the time, the only way to stop that is to stop it. And
try it with that and see how it feels, because that's what I had to do. You have to try it. Stop weighing, see how it feels. And I was really shocked actually at how much I started to take notice of how I felt and how what I was doing each day. I started to think, I'm going to drink my water today because I want to get into that habit. And it just changed everything for me. And I know it works because it's changed for so many of my clients. And you know what? One of the biggest points is a lot of people say to me, no, I need to weigh every day because I've always weighed every day and it really helps me. And I'm like, but it hasn't helped you up to this point. Like you've just told me that you've been the most yo-yoist dieter your whole life. You've never maintained. You've never had full success long term. So with all due respect, we need to change that. And they're like, oh yeah. So let's just try that one thing. Yeah, let's try it. Just try it once. Just trust me for a minute. See if you like it, and then we can change it later if we need to.
It does feel uncomfortable, don't get me wrong, because actually if you weigh in daily, a lot of that is a bit of a control thing. A lot of it is probably linked to the fact that you don't trust yourself or don't trust the plan or whatever, which is understandable, right? Because so many of us have had really bad experiences. But the best thing you ever told me to do was to go to bed with that pint of water. And when I woke up in the morning, before my feet touched the ground, I downed that pint of water. And people are like, oh, I can't drink that early. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're an adult human being. You can drink a pint of water. Like, it's not going to kill you. You will be fine. And actually, it absolved so much responsibility in my mind of getting on the scale, because we're never going to weigh after we've drank. Don't be ridiculous. Yes. If you're daily weighing, we see you. You're there. You've had a wee. You're naked. Your jewelry's off. Like,
I've seen the reflections.
Same. So, it's not going to be a case that you're going to get on those scales after drinking that. But in a weird way, doing that took away the pressure in my own mind of being like, you should get on the scales. Why are you not getting on? Just have a look, see what it says. Because it was like, it soothed that part of my brain into going, don't you dare get on those scales.
But what a simple little thing. Just take some water to bed, drink it before you get up. And that's exactly what I did. It does, it puts you off. You don't want to weigh. And, I've got a lady that puts them in the boot. She'll put her scales in the boot or after weigh, go and put it in the boot for a week and then gets them out maybe the night before she knows it's her weigh day. And she was a serial weigher. Like, you can change. Anyone can change at any point if you're willing to just put in that effort and try it.
And it makes it such a better experience because, like, I know now, like, I don't really know. I know roughly, I suppose, where my weight would be now. And I know I'm roughly kind of where maybe like a little bit more of a weight loss, probably like another half a stone, and then I'm good to go. But I have gone totally off how I feel. And it's made me really embrace how much better I'm feeling. Like, mentally, I talked about that quite a lot, is how much better I felt mentally. And I'm such a believer that if you are a food addict, emotional eater, comfort eater, you've got a really bad, like, relationship with food when it comes to, like, when you're eating, step one is just the absolute savior for that. Like, it is incredible. And it's reignited a passion for that step, which I did love. Like, I couldn't even explain, because it's shown me that it didn't just work when I was 20 stone. Actually, just being a couple of stone away from where I wanted to be, the benefits have been massive. And, I'm feeling good. I've probably come down like dress size and a half, 2 dress sizes. So I think it was about 12. I'm now back into like 8 to 10, which is where I feel like really good.
But you can see how much happier you are as well. You can see it from like inside. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, obviously you look slimmer, but you can tell in your like eyes that you're just so much happier, which is lovely.
Oh, thanks. But it, and I think that's, again, the things that we realise when we're not hopping on scales every day, because I was saying to Jamie the other day when I was thinking about, like, and I encourage everyone to do this, think about the things that are easier or that take less brain work when you have been on plan for a bit. And I was like, I actually like enjoy doing my makeup again. And it doesn't take me as long, because when I don't feel good in myself, putting my makeup on is like putting a mask on. It's like I'm trying to like cover up perceived flaws, like whether they're rational or irrational. Whereas when I feel good in myself, I'm just playing about and just like enjoying it for what it is. Like getting dressed is really easy. Like you just don't think about it as much.
And that's like such a big deal, isn't it? Getting dressed every day in the morning when you don't have to worry about it. It's the loveliest feeling. I haven't got any makeup on today though. I'm thinking before convention, I'm just not going to bother.
Do you know what?
There'll be enough.
I would do the same, only it is that time that Mother Nature is about to greet me, and the skin is not skinning. So I was like, do you know what? Let's just, I might as well plaster it on this week, plaster it on at convention, and then we deal with the like absolute mess of it afterwards. It'll be fine. I'll get my like anti-blemish face masks on in the evening, so that helps. But it is it's been good, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for your messages and for really like respecting the fact that it has been a bit more of a private journey. Like people haven't been pestering or asking like loads of questions or asking about weight and things like that, which I think is really lovely. There is always a curiosity, but also I think, you know, not pestering people about how much you weigh, how much have you lost, even when they maybe look like that isn't something that would bother them. You know, like people may look at you and me and think, why would they care of me asking that question? But actually, if weight is something that you've struggled with, it can be a bit of
I find it really hard.
And also because you know, it's like, if I give you a number, what does that mean to you? Like, does that change your perception of me? Does that change the perception of you? Like, absolutely the worst thing that could happen. So I think it's just been really lovely, and like I said, I'm just feeling really good.
It's taken the pressure off you as well a little bit, hasn't it? You can just do it in your own time, and I think that's really nice. And that is the beauty of having that consultant. You don't need to be telling everybody else. You can just talk to the person that you need to talk to, and that's it.
And I think that is the biggest thing. And do you know what? I had a couple of calls yesterday with clients who are like maybe doing resets or have like, you know, they've been away and they've come back and they're like, right, I'm doing it differently this time. And it's so funny actually speaking to people, because they'll say like, right, I'm doing it differently this time. I'm doing it properly. I'm giving it 100%. And then I'm like, okay, well, you haven't been messaging me. This is the first call we've had in weeks. I was like, so you're not doing it 100%. You're doing it 66%. I was like, because with the plan, as we discussed in our the science series, is 3 parts: the products, the steps or the plan, and the people, your consultant. So if you're only doing your step and the products, you're only doing plan 66%. So
love that.
And then people were like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. I was like, it's not like we did a whole podcast series about it, but it, you know, and that was the big thing for me, I think. And I don't know, Gem, if you'll agree, like when we first had that conversation back in August, which is mad that it was that long ago, I feel like that was the first really like vulnerable conversation that we'd had about weight in a really long time.
Oh, yeah. And didn't we I'm sure we met like this to do a podcast, and I was like, are you okay?
Yeah, and it just did. Like, I don't know if it happened or not, because I was just like, no, I'm not okay.
And I'm not sure if we spoke about it on the podcast or not, or was it before? No, I can't remember, or after. I think it was after.
Yeah, I think I was like, let me just record this and let's go. And it's so funny because if I know which episode that is, and actually if you watch it, watch it now going, I was so not myself. I was like so low, such in a bad place. And but it was even hard for me. And like Gem is literally like my soulmate. She's like, she knows more about me than pretty much 99% of this earth. And even I was struggling, whether that be, you know, my ego was at play a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes it's to admit, isn't it? Nobody wants to admit that they need help, but we all need help. We do. Of
course we do. I always say to people, like, you wouldn't, I used this analogy last night, right? And I want you all to take this to the bank and remember this, because I have so many clients that say to me, but I know how. But I know what I'm meant to be doing. I know, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not in question. I'm not questioning your knowledge. I'm not questioning your genuine desire for something. What we're looking at is how we apply this, right? How I give you the skills and we put the things in place for you to apply it into day to day. I said there are countless hundreds of thousands of men and women up and down this great country who sit down to watch the football, and in their sofas will be telling Cristiano Ronaldo how he needs to pass the ball, what he needs to do, how that ref got that decision wrong, all the rest of it. But if you plonk them on the field, probably not going to perform the best.
Probably can't do it.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can have all the knowledge and not be able to apply necessarily in the way that you need to. And that is very much it with plan. I think all of our egos, prides get in the way, and it's not a negative thing. It's not to say, well, you're egotistical. It's to say that part of your brain is like, it's sabotaging you. It's saying, you don't need support. You know what you're doing. How could you have done this plan so many times and not know what to do? Like, they don't want to talk to you. They think that you're ridiculous, that you can't stick to plan. Like, you know, those are all the things that go on in people's heads, because they've gone on in mine. I'm sure, Jen, they've gone on in yours.
Yeah. Like, 100%. Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's really, really important that you use that support, because when people are like, well, what made it different now? Why was now different? It was because I could finally, for some reason, the wall came down and I was able to just be honest and kind of message and use you again as a consultant. Because that is the key. It really, really is. So if you are, before we go into these questions, and kind of, I think a running theme in any diet dilemmas that we do, it is that if you are struggling, if you are thinking, I'm worried about this, I'm not sure about this, you need to reach out to your consultant and speak to them. They are what is going to be the thing that helps, not setting your alarm half an hour earlier to make a shake or any of these practical things you're trying to do. It's that support that you need.
Yeah, 100%.
To help. So with that in mind, Jan, let's crack in to the dieter dilemmas. Now, as always, it's anonymous. And as always, you can find the link to submit your own diet dilemmas in the show notes and in the description of our YouTube and Spotify videos. So if you do have one, please do send them in, because it'd be lovely to actually do more of these in the run up to Christmas, because I feel like this actually gives you all more what you need than us doing like dedicated episodes on certain topics. So please do submit them. We'll share them on our socials throughout the week as well. And if you're one of mine or Gem's clients, we're going to share the link in the group chat. You better be submitting questions, please. Don't leave us with nothing to ask or answer. Okay, so the first question is, hi Gemma and Rach. I started planning earlier this year and lost over 3 stone from February to May. Amazing. But then I had a holiday and got sidetracked in the summer holidays. I want to restart, but is there any point this close to Christmas? I'm going to hand over to Gemma Renwick to take this.
Well, there's definitely a point. If you want to start it now, there's definitely a point. We've got a long time. How many weeks have we got now till Christmas? Are we on?
We've got like 5 or 6 weeks. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks.
Yeah,
literally
6 weeks.
6 weeks. When this podcast goes live, it's 6 weeks to the day.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So yeah, 6 weeks. There's definitely a point. Yeah, loads of time. But you also have to think about why you got sidetracked last time. And why this time has to be different, because, you know, you could just keep repeating the same thing. You know, January is going to probably be the same. There's never a good time to start, basically, unless you're willing to commit and change long term. I really don't think there is a good time. You just have to start.
We talk about it so much, don't we, Jem? Looking for this, like, blank space of time, looking for this clear run that we've got coming up. There is no clear run. It doesn't happen. Never. Life, what like Murphy's Law says, that the minute you think you've got a clear run, that your boiler's going to break, or your car's going to break, or your kids are going to get ill, or something's going to happen that means that life will life. And so it's not about where is there a clear run that I can do plan. It's more about like being able to say, okay, how do I let the excuses go? How do I stop trying to seek out reasons to not be able to do plans so I don't feel like I'm burdening the guilt of it?
Yeah,
and
that's it.
Because actually you are an adult, you make decisions. And even if somebody puts a cheesecake in front of you, ultimately you still have the choice to eat it. Exactly. Like somebody can be, you know, you can have someone in the house buying in biscuits or something like that. Yes, it can be really triggering. It can be really difficult. But it doesn't mean you have to eat them. And that is where you use your consultant to make plans and strategies and have those check-ins and build yourself up. Because guess what? The cheesecake, the crisps, the holidays, the family meals, they're always going to be there. So either we face it and we make plans to navigate those things and make, like you say, Jem, the actual long-lasting changes that you need, and ultimately get to your goal and have a much better relationship with your body, your food, all the rest of it. Or wait for a time that's never going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. January will come and go, and then it will be summer again, and then you're in the vicious cycle, and you're a whole year later and no better off. It's just you just have to start. What date did you start, Rachael? When you first?
I started on the 28th of December because I did not want to start in New Year, because I knew that my brain would just be like, well, the new year, new me never works. And this is what's important. It's to think about what has happened in the past. Like, what are the patterns of my behavior in the past?
Yes.
Because even if you really consciously think, no, I'm going to change this, yet the issue with that is it's ingrained, it's in your subconscious, that your brain doesn't want to be happy. It wants to be right. And if you have had a pattern of behavior, your subconscious will literally derail you and sabotage you into going back to that pattern rather than a different one. So if you want something different to what you've always got, you've got to do something different to what you've always done. You have to do something
different. Yeah,
and
definitely.
For me, that was being like, right, before New Year, I am starting. And also, it meant that I went into the new year already being like, smashing it. New Year's goals, mate.
Yeah.
Smashing it.
Yeah, like, already a week in.
Yeah, exactly. Already a week in. And, you know, between now and Christmas, you could lose 1.5 stone on plan.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you know, okay, so you have, I think I emailed my clients the other day. We were talking about like perspective, right? Looking at this period now with perspective, because a lot of us can become a little irrational with this time of year. And I was like, look, say for example, Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and 3 other days in the month you went completely off. Like not a product. You didn't even drink your water. I'm crying into my Christmas coffee, but you know, you're an adult. You did what you wanted to do. It would still mean you will have been on plan for 85% of the time between now and New Year's Day. Like, how can you argue that it's not worth it for 85%?
Yeah, that's huge progress. You know, the progress you won't get the full result. You know, you probably won't get the 1.5 stone, but 85% is a high figure. And it means you get to enjoy all of those days that you wanted to enjoy. But you do, I think the only trouble with that is when people go completely off, then I can almost guarantee they're not going to be 100% on the other 85%. Does that make sense?
That's it. Like, that's when we come back to like having to have the plans of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And like I talked about like in last week's episode, and we've had our afternoon tea now this week. It was delightful. It was so lush. And did what I said I was going to do. I smashed it actually that day. 3 litres of water, 2 products.
Because you told yourself that's what you were going to do. Your narrative in your head is so positive, and it's so like confirmed that that's the plan. I had a lady the other day that said, I just can't drink water. I never have been able to. I can't do it. I can only ever get to 2 litres. I'm like, stop.
You're telling yourself that. You can't do it.
You're basically telling yourself you're never going to drink water, but you're telling me you're going to try. But you're not going to try because you've just told yourself you can't do it. So you have to change. It's just that voice in your head. If you can just switch it around and make it a positive and convert, make that decision and stick to it. But you have to tell yourself you're going to do it. You can't have doubts. If somebody comes to me on a call and says, I'm going to really try and do it this time. I'm going to try. I'm like, trying's not good enough. You are going to 100% do it. This time is different. This is what you're going to do. But I've realised that's how we talk to ourselves and to each other.
Yeah.
I've never not done that. I just I think I'm quite stubborn.
See, I was never like that before. I was the most self-critical, self-doubt, pessimistic person you could have ever met. But that was a big thing when I started planning that I really looked to change, because I realised if I did what I always did, I was going to get what I always get. I'd always been like a bit of a miserable cow. So I was like, right, I need to change that and become more positive, because even if today feels hard, there is still positive to be found in the day, right? And and I also, when people say like, I will get to goal this time, I'm like, no, we're not saying we are willing anything. We're not willing anything. We're doing it. So I am going to get to goal this time. I am doing it. And that was something that I was really strong with from the beginning, is I was like, even if I don't really believe it, I'm going to tell myself. You still got to tell yourself, this is happening.
What you tell yourself is exactly what's going to happen. So you can choose what you're going to tell yourself.
100%.
It is a thing. Manifestation.
It's huge. Like, and there's a reason why, like, you think, whenever you're having a baby, slightly off topic, but like whenever, go back and listen to our pregnancy episode right back at the beginning if you want to hear the trauma.
Oh my God.
But, how many times will like midwives and things like that, when they're like coaching you through labor, say to you, no, like you can do this, like you need to tell yourself you can do this. And like hypnobirthing and things like that, it's all about that visualization and reminding yourself like, I can. And the minute we let that doubt and fear creep in, our body physically reacts. Like we know, and they've done studies to show that fear and negativity makes pain worse. Whereas, I mean, I'm talking here like I was a literal hypnobirthing queen. I had epidural, I had morphine, I
remember screaming, I can't. She was like, women do this every day, you can. I was like, I can't.
But that's it.
But then funny thing was, she said, the baby's getting distressed, that was it. Like something took over me and I thought, well, I have to do it now. Yeah. And it just shows you can switch your mindset in a second, because I thought that, Finley might be in trouble. That was it. I pushed him out.
Exactly. If the reason behind why you need to do something is strong enough, you will do it. And that is why you need to sit down, figure out why it is that you're doing, whatever you're doing when it comes to your body, your health, your weight loss, and make that really strong, so that you look at the next 6 weeks and go, I got 6 weeks to smash it out the park.
Yeah, that's a positive thing.
I am changing the dynamic of this relationship I've had with dieting and food. I am making this the start of a new future, not the start of getting to an end. This ain't ending. This ain't ending, baby. Like, I feel good.
It's not. Right. Next question. Otherwise, we're going to be here a day, aren't we? We're terrible.
Sorry. You do like the longer episodes, and there are chapters you can go through.
I know.
Right. So, mother-in-law question, because we all love to speak about the mother-in-law. So my mother-in-law is hosting Christmas. We have a good relationship, but I'm already panicking. The thought of not knowing what she'll make or what she'll have in, etc., is making it feel impossible to plan for. And I'm worried I won't be able to stick to plan whilst with our help.
Okay. So where are we? We're in the middle of November and you're already panicking about 6 weeks' time. But I get it. I do totally understand that, because I remember, bless Jim's mum, when she was alive, she was a feeder. She would put everything. She would put everything out. Do you know what I mean? But like you said before, we're adults. We make our decisions. You don't have to eat it all. You can have a little bit of things. And also, if you plan that day and kind of maybe have, like you said, have a product in the morning, or plan to drink your water and all those things you can control. Because obviously you can't control what she's actually going to cook. You're probably going to love it and enjoy it. It's Christmas, for God's sake. You can enjoy it. Like,
enjoy your Christmas Day food.
Yeah.
Like we always say, we're not here to demonize the ability to enjoy food, and we get it. Like there's a fear of one, not having control, and it's also that when you feel like you're in a good momentum, it's that worry of like what happens what's going to take me off, like what if I can't control myself. Like those things are normal, but like that's again where you need, like, are you reaching out to your consultant? Are you having calls with them each week or seeing them each week? Are you sharing these fears with them so that they can help rationalize what is an irrational fear? It's not that it's not a true fear, but it's that it doesn't have to be. Like you can still plan even if you don't know what's happening. Like I didn't know what we were going to have for afternoon tea, but I still knew what my plan was going to be that day. And that's, I think, where we need to change things up. You need to put yourself in control, and even if it's not the ideal plan, you need to kind of like submit a little bit to that and be like, actually, I clearly, the way I have done things didn't work because it has never worked before. I'm going to have to put myself out of my comfort zone and feel a little bit uncomfortable, because that's where you grow.
Yeah, 100%. And if you're worrying about it now, you're more than likely going to come off plan even before Christmas because you're panicking already. And it's that whole, but I don't want to be 100% and then come off and ruin it then. So then you end up just coming off plan now anyway. So it's just, you don't need to be worrying about it. It is making a plan with your consultant and try not to panic. Try and do something different this time. And enjoy Christmas Day. Like, you know I will be.
I will be. Oh my gosh, 100%. I'm ready. I've got the Tesco. I'm going Tesco this year.
Are you?
The food. Yeah, I know. I've always been a loyal Ocado girl. You all know this, a little M&S Ocado girl. However, what I have found is the last couple of years, there's been a couple of substitutes in my delivery.
And that's annoying when it's Christmas
just
stuff
for
that you really
Christmas,
want.
you know. And I've just like, do you know what? I want to go into the shop. I want to I feel like it takes away a little bit of the magic a little bit, you know, not panicking and sweating, going around Tesco trying to get like your stuffing balls. So I thought I'm going to do that this year. It'd be nice.
Well done. I've done mine. I've done Sainsbury's for like the normal, little bits. And then I have done my little posh M&S pre-order. Just for the meat and stuff, because it's so nice. And we're doing Boxing Day this year. So I'm doing the cold meats, the bubble and squeak and all of that.
Oh, so, nice. Yeah, I'm I think we have got an M&S food not too far from us. So I think we will go there. Like, of course we will. Yeah. But
because you don't need to pre-order it. They've always got loads there.
Yeah, I thought I'm going to have a little mooch around and actually have a look, which I haven't done in previous years because I have had that worry. But I'm like, no, actually, we're doing it this year. Now, this leads us on to this next question, which is involving shops. I'm sure many of us have seen the shops have been full with the Christmassy stuff for the last couple of weeks. Yeah. And, it can be tempting. But this person says, girls, how do you manage dealing with shops? I really want to stick to plan, but all the Christmas treats and snacks are making it impossible.
They're not. They're definitely not. You have to ignore it. It's the same, like what me and you have said before. It's the same food. They've just plonked a bit of holly on it, or like they try and entice you in. Yeah, and it's all the money making, isn't it? That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to entice you, but you don't need to. You don't need to give in to that on the 12th of November.
No, and this is it. Like, if there's things you really want, like earmark them for getting near Christmas. We tell ourselves that lie. Oh, they'll sell out, and it's like, well, we all know realistically they won't. And like, you'll be able to have it then later down the line. It's not that we're never going to have the Christmas stuff again, but also there is that element of like, you don't have to eat every single Christmas thing that is out between like end of October and January. I used to be like that. I'd be like, but I have to have this, and I have to have this, and I have to have this. And actually what it meant was I didn't enjoy any of it. I was just basically a Christmas bin.
It's the tradition. But we have this, it's our tradition every year. And I'm like, but you can have that as a tradition on Christmas. You don't need to have it for the whole of November, the whole of December. My mum used to do you know what? We even went to my mum's last weekend. She's already got the heroes in the middle of the table. I'm like, why? Why are they there? Well, I knew you were coming for a roast. It's nearly Christmas. I'm like, no, it's really not. But it's that habit of just like this tradition thing. And I refuse to have it now.
They're not even on offer yet. Like, I've been looking around actually, because I have thought, we're going to stock up for presents, not for us, but for presents. Yeah. And I have been astounded actually at the lack of deals on
but I don't think they have to put it on deal. What they're doing is they're putting it out and people are buying it anyway. They know, you know, they're forecasting. They obviously know that they sell so much from the beginning of November. So actually we need to like end that, stop buying, and then they won't bring it out in November if no one's buying it. That's I'm protesting.
Yeah, let's not have that. Do you know what though? It comes to a good point as well, because I know that there'll be people, this is going to be controversial, but you know, well, that's what we're here for. There'll be people that come to us now and be like, can't do plan up until January because of the cost. It's too expensive for me to do it. And we will say, okay, but have you thought about, let's bring your products down? You know, if you're having 4 products today, why don't we try step 2, step 3, whatever? You're still going to have amazing, results between now and Christmas. And importantly, remember, you are not just getting products. Like that is a third of a 3-part like system. So and people say, haven't got the money for it, sorry about that. But then we'll buy all of these unnecessary treats between now and January. We'll tell ourselves, oh, it's for the kids, it's for this, it's for that. Well, if it's for the kids, why are you in the kitchen with your hands in the Heroes box? Like,
do you know what, I nearly put on these little chocolate bars this morning. I just done my shop this morning. And I had to stop myself because Finley likes these little chocolate bars sometimes, but there's ones that I really like, the orange clubs.
I keep love an orange club.
So do I, apparently. I didn't realise how much I liked them.
I feel like they're the 90s school kids go to.
But I thought, I'm not going to put them on because I end up eating them. I'm only adding that for me. And you have to really kind of look at your habits. And also, conventional food is really expensive. It's more expensive than a product. You know, what meal are you going to get out there for £2.80 or whatever you're paying for a product?
Yeah.
It's another excuse, isn't it? Basically.
It is. And I think it is important, like you said, that we look at these things, because we will tell ourselves, you know, if you are someone that is an emotional eater, food addict, sugar addict, whatever it is, right, you will manipulate yourself. That little voice in your head that wants you to give in to those behaviors will manipulate your brain into thinking that you are doing things because I have to for the kids, or I have to get that for my mum, or I have to. No, you don't. You do not have to do that. Like, in no world is your child going to suffer because you haven't bought a selection box yet, or you haven't got this or that. And actually, we want to be passing on those good habits to our children as well, to be like, we really want to enjoy Christmas. I really want to have, like, you know, your chocolate coins, all those things that we remember as kids, right? Like, all those things you remember getting at Christmas. I know for a fact Jackie was not getting me gold coins, selection boxes, Christmas sweets and treats in November. The woman, absolutely no way. She was still probably buying knockoff Halloween stuff at this point on the sale, but she, you know, it was special because we saved it.
Yeah.
Until then, and if we,
that's what it's supposed to be, isn't it? Like, you know, it's supposed to be a special moment, not. And Christmas isn't 2 months long. Christmas is the day.
Well, okay.
Maybe a few days.
Don't be tight. Like. Not just today.
You've got your Christmas decorations up, haven't you?
Nearly? Well, no, we're doing it bit by bit. So I've got I've got my floral arrangement for the kitchen yesterday from the local garden centre. Nice. It's so pretty. Yeah. I like to do it by season. I started it with Halloween because I was like, I spend so much money getting flowers because I love having like flowers in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna invest and get really nice artificial flowers for each season. So I have my autumn Halloween ones and I got my Christmas ones. I realised I'm much more like Jackie Murphy than I thought with the sparkles. I'm a magpie.
She's coming out in you now,
She's coming out in me, yeah, she really is. And then I was like, after then, I can do like a little Easter one, a little summer one, and then just pop them away and have them for the rest of the year. So we're doing it little bit by little bit. We've got Jamie's birthday on Thursday, so he is like not letting me get anything down from the loft until then. Yeah, and then we've got convention, obviously, but my decks will be going up next week. And, you know, it's also about, like, if there are things that, say you're on plan, right, and that you do feel like you're really missing out, well, then don't fight yourself. Like, don't make this impossible. For example, we have like hot chocolate in the evening. Poppy likes to make hot chocolate. So we'll have an options hot chocolate. It's 40 calories. You could put some light squirty cream on, 30 odd calories. You can, you know, and again, like you said, Jen, people will go, but I'm not 100%. And then completely, and it's like, yes,
and then you completely come off. Yeah.
I have the 100 calories if it's going to keep you from like doing everything else. So again, that's why you need a consultant. You need somebody there to help and almost give you, like, I don't know about you, Jen, but I find like a lot of clients just want your approval of something, or they just want to be told what to do, because sometimes it's just overwhelming 100%. To think.
Yeah, but that's what we're there for. That's it. And I always say to, like, even team, you know, your opinion is what they're there for. You know, that's what they're paying for. They're paying for you to help them, basically, and teach them how to do it. So, you know, I'm quite strict with my clients, to be honest. And I think if they're on 1B, I am very much like, if you want to do 1B, it's 1B. You know, commit, let's do it properly. No options, hot chocolates or anything. Like, let's just do it. If you don't want to do that, there's step 3, which is amazing. And then you can have that hot chocolate every night. You can have your normal dinner. I can help you with the meal plan. I can literally tell you exactly what to eat if you want me to.
I've literally sent
like,
shopping lists to clients because I'm like,
me too.
Look, you know me, I ain't cooking, believe it or not. And so, like, for me, like, I can be like, right, these are the things I would get. This is what I would do here. If that's what you're missing, this is a good option for that. And I agree. Like, when you're doing steps, stick to the step, like we said.
Stick to the step,
And then if you need to change things, you can. Because the issue is, like, I might be able, after being on, you know, doing plan, it's like 4 years maintaining my weight loss, really. I might be able to have that options hot chocolate and it really not impact anything whatsoever. But I couldn't have done that before. So when I, like, don't do as I say, not as I do a little bit, but also don't be afraid to say what you're struggling with. Because only if we don't know,
I feel like that's the most important bit. Yeah, you've got to tell us exactly. And like, someone will say to me, oh, my week's been all right. I'm like, you need to elaborate. Like,
I need more.
If it's only been all right, it's obviously not been 100% or something's happened, but you haven't told me what, so I don't know how to help. Like, they say, oh, what's your advice? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what you've done. You have to tell me. You haven't sent me, like, no accountability. I don't know what you've been having each day. And I bang on about that a lot. Send me accountability every night.
Oh, yes,
let me know. Send me a little collage. Know. I love seeing it. And they're like, really? You want to get that from all your clients? I'm like, yeah, I'd rather know that you're on plan 100% or whatever you've had that day. And also the accountability helps them. But unless you tell us, we cannot help. No. I can't help you unless I know what you've done that week.
And my job is far easier if you've been messaging me every day than it is getting a check-in once a week and then almost feeling like I'm in a crystal maze game trying to figure out, like, well,
what do you mean?
You're not giving me anything here. And I get, like, it can feel really intimidating and awkward and embarrassing to say if you've struggled, but the only way that's not going to feel difficult is if you're not only messaging me when things are difficult, like message me all the good, because then we make it such a more positive experience because our conversations are more positive 90% of the time, and then when you are struggling, it's like, but I'm used to messaging Rach and Gemma or, you know, whoever,
exactly.
So you're more that you're more likely to reach out in those moments. So
definitely.
If we haven't said it enough already, if you're not using your consultant, you're not doing the plan. So please make sure that you are. Okay, last question today.
Okay.
So this is from an amazing anonymous slimmer. So it's my first Christmas in maintenance. I lost over 5 stone this year on step 1. Absolutely incredible.
Wow.
And have been going up the steps, but feel like I can't get past step 4. It's like I'm not ready to give up those 2 products and scared to increase my calories as I don't want to gain. And I've already had comments from people around me saying how I'll pile it all back on because that's what happens with this diet. Help me, please.
Oh, bless her. First of all, well done. That is amazing.
I thought
when you said can't get past step, I thought you were going to say step 2 or something. Because that's what I hear, that like it's actually amazing that you've got up to step 4. That really is where people normally struggle, isn't it? The step 3 fear to get up past that point and actually start calorie counting. So amazing. Well done. But 1,200 calories isn't probably your maintenance calories. So you can go up. You just have to, again, you have to speak to your consultant. You have to work out the next plan because you've actually, I feel like she's doing the stepping stones perfectly. So, you know, what's the next one when she's already been doing it? And you also don't have to give up the 2 products if you don't want to. They are 400 calories. If you want to add them into your 1,500 calorie day, just have 1,100 calories of food on top. Yeah. I've still got my shake for breakfast.
Yeah, like it's,
11 years on.
I will still pretty much have 2 products a day in maintenance. When maintenance was its like easy breezy south for me, and what it will be again now when I step up.
It will. You are going to maintain.
It is going to,
it is.
I would have a product for breakfast because it's just easy. Like I'm really busy in the morning, got Poppy getting ready for school, then I'm like straight on it with clients. So products just work well. And I have to have that bar and a cup of tea in bed. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. It has to happen every night.
It ends the day, doesn't it?
It just finishes off. My day off. Yeah. But like you say, that's 400 calories of like my 15 to whatever that, calories I am having that day. The products are meal replacement products. They are brilliant for you. And so incorporating them into your maintenance is brilliant. You know, if it works, it works for you. They taste delicious. Like for me, I find they just manage my hunger really well. They fill me up better than anything else. I don't get like sugar spikes like I do with other things like that I could have. And they work really, really well. They don't just have to be a product that you're having in weight loss.
Yeah.
The issue though that we don't want you to be doing is being like, all right then, I'll have 8 products a day, because it's like, no, right now this is not going to work. So for me, maintenance, 2 would be the most products I would have in a day, because you want to have the calories for your other meals and snacks and what have you. But don't let the idea, and I think that's more of what this is. I think this is less about increasing your calories and more about not wanting to give up a product. And you're probably looking at, you know, when you're having 2 products a day, it's normally 2 products you really like. So it's like, which one do I want to give? I want to give one of these up.
Yeah. You don't have to. You really don't have to. But then in the same breath, I think some people think, oh God, I don't want to have products forever. It's like, you don't have to. It's completely a choice. If you're having products in maintenance, I feel like that's completely a personal choice. I still have clients on my books that maybe buy enough for one a day, and they do that every month, and they might still send me their weight every month if they want to, you know, maintenance. It's quite rare actually for people not to love the products that much and actually give them up. Like I haven't had many maintenance clients that have given them up completely. I have got a few obviously, but I think that's because we incorporate them and we enjoy them, and that is genuine. Like I would not drink a vanilla shake every morning if I didn't love it. Do you know what I mean?
Not a chance. Like I
just wouldn't.
I like food too much to
me too
ever like be like, oh, these are lovely when they're not. Like I love, like, you know that fruit nut bar has got a hold on me, a choke hold on me.
It's amazing though.
It's so good. And like I will be having one after we record this, because I love it. I will not give that up. And this is just a PSA to anyone at head office. If you ever think that perhaps that product no longer needs a place in the range, I will be outside the Corby warehouse with a placard,
Rachael,
going crazy.
When they got rid of that cranberry bar, that's how I used to feel about that. Oh, you would love that. Honestly, it was so good. And they got rid of it. I cried. I literally cried. I was like, I have it every day. And I remember ordering like so many boxes of it just to try and have one a day until like the sell by day. Oh, it was awful. And that's how I feel about fruit and nut.
The Irish Bites.
Yeah,
I was very sad about that. And I don't know if you remember, we ordered like 50 boxes.
Yes,
we had a tower in here. Me and Jamie were like, we're on rations, can only have one a day. But yeah, you know, you don't have to give them up.
You don't have to.
You can have up to 2 products a day in maintenance. I would say obviously speak to your consultant. They know you best. They know this whole journey that you've been on. They've been there with you, and they've not guided you wrong yet. Like 5 stone in less than a year.
And up to step 4, she's smashing
That's incredible. So just don't let your brain play with you now. Like push past that. And even if you increase your calories at a lower increment, so sometimes with my clients, especially if they're like me and they're petite, so we know that the calories per day are going to be slightly lower perhaps than somebody who is taller. I may increase calories by 100 calories a week, just so that it doesn't feel as drastic, or it helps stabilize weight in petite individuals sometimes a little bit better. But again, I would do it based on what I knew of my client, and that's why it's so important to speak to your consultant, because we can give you very like general advice on what we would recommend to a certain type of client, but what we say on this podcast and advice we give should never be taken as gospel unless it is coming directly from one of us as your consultant on a one-to-one call, because there's so many factors that can like change things. And what would work for Gem wouldn't work for me, and vice versa. I thought it's just important to say before people start kind of going away and being like, they've told me to do this. I'd be like, well, we haven't actually told you anything because I haven't actually spoken to you. But
because it's hard. We get questions on Instagram a lot, don't we? And I always say you have to speak to your consultant. I don't know your medical background. I don't know your activity levels. I don't know what you do for a job. I don't know what medication you're taking. Like literally nothing. But they're like, what step do I need to be on, and how do I get to? So you have to speak to your consultant. That is the whole point. They know everything about you. Strictly confidential, and you can talk to them about anything, and actually they can give you the best advice.
I think people sometimes think we're maybe just being like, oh, I don't want to, like, you're not a client of mine, I don't want to speak to you, but like it is from a genuine place. It would be like going up to somebody on the train who said they were a doctor and saying to them, do you think I should still take this medication? And they'd be like, well, one minute, I need to know a lot more about you before I can start.
I'd probably do that as well if I knew someone was a doctor. Can you help me?
Can you help me, please? I've got this ailment. I can't get into my doctor.
also, we don't want the client to then go to their consultant and say, well, Gemma and Rach said that I have to do this. And they'd be like, but they don't know that you've got this condition, or do you know what I mean? It's like, it would be the worst thing for us to do that and give you, the wrong advice.
Exactly. So we give the advice that we give because it is generic. It's something that can be pretty much applied to anyone. But as we started this podcast, we will end it by saying it is so important this time of year. It's important any time that you're doing this plan, but especially this time of year, that you are having that regular contact with your consultant, whatever that looks like for you, whether that is messaging them daily, having those weekly phone calls, going to see them, if you're a face-to-face client, just making sure that you are doing a third of the plan correctly. Because remember, if you're not, then you're not on plan 100%, regardless of how well you think you're doing with the products in the water. You're on plan 66%.
I love that, 66%. Brilliant.
We need to get you up to... I said to one of my clients last night, actually, when because she was like, I almost can stick to like the products and stuff like that because it's like a rule. I've made like this rule in my head and I will like stick to the rule. And I was like, well, it's a rule that you have to have your weekly phone call with me. Like that is, it's a genuine rule. It's part of the plan. So she was like, now I know it's a rule. I will actually do it. And then she went in and booked her calls in then. So
good.
Make sure that you are doing that, because that is what's going to make the difference between going through the next 6 weeks, feeling in control, like we're making progress, like things are changing, or having a massive mental breakdown before Christmas, which I don't want.
Just so unnecessary. You don't need to do that. Just speak to your consultant.
Oh, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this episode. I've really, really enjoyed it. Like we said earlier in the episode, there is always a link to our anonymous dilemmas tip line, if you like. You can submit them there completely anonymously, and we will look to pick them up in future episodes. This is the best way for us to be able to answer the things that are genuinely affecting you. And obviously, if we have multiple questions come through about the same subject, that's when we can make more dedicated episodes. So this podcast is for you, the listener, and we can make it the best by having your engagement when it comes to topics you want us to speak about. So please do click the link in the description or in the show notes if you are watching on Spotify, and submit your dilemmas, whether they are massive, big, scary dilemmas or just little things. If it's bothering you in any way, taking up any of your headspace worrying about it, we want to know. Make sure as well that you follow both of us on our socials. All links, as always, are in the show notes and the description. Turn on the notifications. Some people weren't getting the kind of episodes showing up in their subscriptions. I know YouTube and Spotify can be a little bit funny with things like that. So turn on the notification bell, because that way you will be notified when new episodes go live, so that you do not miss a thing between now and Christmas. But until next week, as always, it is goodbye from me.
And bye from me.
And we will see you all again really soon.